Good morning, or whatever time of the day that you are watching this. Obviously, with all the rain that you just saw, it is not raining now, as I am outside and enjoying a little bit nicer weather. It's in the 30s. It was actually snowing this morning. We ended up with a pretty nice dusting, but I decided to try to find someplace quiet that I could film. I've got busy grandkids and husbands involved in a project, and so it just seemed like there was noise everywhere. So it's okay. I thought, well, I'm going to come out and I'll just do it out here. Give you guys a nice view of my pond back there. And what do we have? Chicken house. There it is. Chicken house on this side. So yeah, and a little sunshine that keeps trying to peek out now and then. But in any case, welcome to Homemakers Journal 16. And today I've got several things to share with you. Number one is, yay, look at this, you guys. I finished my hat. And I can't tell you enough what a simple, easy project this is. I just took me a while with everything that I've been going through. It took me a while to get to the point where I could get it finished. But in reality, they go together very quick. And if you're not a really seasoned crochet person and you just know some basic stitches, trust me, this is a super easy project. As you can see, as I'm finishing it here, it's just a matter of folding your rectangle out, single crochet rectangle, as I showed in the last time I talked about this, and you sew it up the side and then kind of gather in the top and sew the little top part closed, turn it right side out, fold it, and voila, you have a new hat. And it's been nice. I already have worn it a few times. Went out for a walk yesterday and it was cold out, and it was like, ooh, it's nice to have a hat. This yarn has a little bit of wool in it, so that helps make it even warmer. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys on this video was 2 recipe ideas for using up leftover chicken. Both of these recipes are, I will say, Asian inspired. Certainly, I'm not any kind of an expert on Asian cooking, but I have a daughter that is. So that's why I say I'm not the expert now. If I really wanted to get professional about it, I would consult her and say, okay, tell me what to buy. But I am just using basic things that you can find in your pantry, soy sauce and some sesame oil, and I always keep those things on hand because with that I can utilize them to create all kinds of different Asian type dishes. But let me get showing you this. On the first one that I did, I had the last of a rotisserie chicken that I had bought. We had already eaten it actually for a couple of nights, and there was still a good amount of breast meat left, and of course all those wonderful bones, so they all got thrown into the Instant Pot so I could have some delicious tasting broth. And I absolutely love making bone broth in the Instant Pot because it is just so simple and it turns out so flavorful and doesn't take a whole lot of time. I made a video quite a while back. It's just a short little video on how to make bone broth in the Instant Pot, so I can link that for you if you have never done it. But in any case, when I was done, I strained out separated my broth from my chicken, and I took a small onion, some mushrooms, some chopped up little pieces of carrot, and I sauteed that in oil until the onions and mushrooms were soft. I added a little bit of the broth just to kind of deglaze the pan and to just come to a simmer and let the carrots finish cooking to make sure that they were soft. Then it was time to cook my noodles. Now, I use ramen noodles. I buy them because they are the most inexpensive Asian type noodles you can possibly buy. But I will say that I throw away the seasoning packet. In my mind, that's probably the worst as far as nutritional value, and there's just so much MSG and junk in there that I just toss it. My own homemade chicken broth tastes a whole lot better. But I like the noodles. They cook up fast. So I cooked those. I added the rest of the broth, obviously, and cooked those noodles up. Now, when they were done, I removed the majority of them from the pot of soup. And the reason that I do that is because I don't like it when the noodles sit there and they get more and more soggy as the soup just sits, especially if you know you're going to have leftovers or something like that, which we did. After the noodles were done and I had removed them, I added the chicken and I seasoned the sauce. And I hope I'm getting this in order because I'm standing out here and I have already edited the video. But if not, you get the idea. And I seasoned it then at that point with soy sauce and sesame oil to taste. So just your own discretion. Then when it came time to serve it, I put some of the noodles into serving bowls and ladled the chicken soup mixture over the top of that, and it was delicious. So if you have leftover chicken, it's a great easy way to utilize it all up. You could use store-bought broth for this also. You could do pork, you could do beef, you know, it doesn't have to be chicken. It's just what I had. Now, the second one was also one of my creative use of leftovers. So I had purchased some orange chicken from Costco. It's frozen, reminds me a lot of Panda Express. Maybe Panda Express is better. I don't know. But in any case, we like it. Now, it comes in 2 individual packages. I can't remember the weight. I can look that up and see what it is. So I cooked up the orange chicken, and we had that. I think we had it twice. So, I mean, I can definitely stretch out one of those packages of orange chicken pretty far. But I still had a little bit left, and I chopped that up and put that into a measuring cup and had about 2 cups of leftover orange chicken. Now, you don't have to have orange chicken for this recipe. So, you know, whatever you have will work. Whether it's chicken again, beef, pork, doesn't matter. The day before, I had cooked up a couple cups of white rice and put that in the refrigerator. This went together really super fast because the chicken was cooked, the rice was cooked. So I sauteed up some veggies until they were nice and soft. I added maybe a cup's worth of frozen peas and carrots. I cooked that up until those started to soften up. I kind of pushed that aside. I scrambled up 3 eggs. And I added that into the pan and cooked those until the eggs were nice and cooked all the way through and scrambled. And then I kind of stirred that together with the peas and the carrots. I also added some ginger. I buy the ginger that's already in the jar. And then I added my chicken meat to that. And at that point, added my rice. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to use all the rice, so I kind of just did it in portions, stirred it around, looked to see what I had, and in the end decided to go ahead and use it all up. So I don't know what I had there, maybe 3 to 4 cups of cooked rice. I stirred that all up, and then once again, I seasoned that with soy sauce, sesame oil, and that was it. I tasted it at one point just to make sure, because like I said, do this to taste, and it seemed like it needed a little bit more of the soy sauce. So I added that, and that was dinner that night. And I served it with a salad on the side, and that actually lasted us 2 nights. And I think there was a little bit left over the next day. I don't know, I made lunch for one of us, my husband or me, I can't remember. But there you go, fried rice. So those are my 2: leftover chicken. It could be a leftover any type of meat, Asian inspired, creative use of your leftovers. I am going to show you how to cook dried beans in the Instant Pot. This is super simple and it is super frugal. Dried beans are very cheap to buy. The bigger the package, the better the savings. That's one thing that I definitely have seen. But it is, the Instant Pot just makes this so quick and so easy. I have cooked beans on the stovetop for years and years and years, and you know, it's about a 3 to 4 hour process depending on the type of bean, depending on how soft you want it. So to be able to do this in the Instant Pot like this is super easy. My ratio at this time when I was cooking this, I was doing 2 cups of dried beans. So my ratio is typically 1 cup of dried beans to 4 cups of water. And so I put 2 cups of dried beans and 8 cups of water into my Instant Pot. I also added salt. Now, it is a complete myth that salt will make your beans hard. That is not true. I've been salting beans for well over 30 years when I cook them. There are things that will make your beans hard, but salt is not one of them. Typically, it's any kind of acid food. So if you have dried beans, don't throw in a can of tomatoes with that while you're cooking your beans, because now that would most likely give you beans that never get soft. Now, salt makes a delicious tasting broth. Bean broth, the beans end up tasting absolutely delicious when you use salt. So I highly recommend that when you're cooking. Pop the lid on. Make sure you have the knob at the top set to sealing, and you're going to set the timer for 60 minutes. And I should say that I like my beans super soft. So if you like your beans more firm, then you can adjust the time, and you could do it for 30 minutes and then check and see what you think. And if you want more time, add it. But for me, after trying different ways, I end up going about an hour. Once the pressure has come up, your Instant Pot will go from on to the time that you set, which of course was 60 minutes for me, and then you're just going to let it cook and do its thing for 60 minutes. Now, many times I have forgotten about it and the pressure just comes down on its own, because usually I just do that in the morning or something like that and don't think about it till later in the day. But if you're kind of in a hurry and you need the beans, you can release the pressure as well. It doesn't really matter at that point. Once the pressure is released, you can open it up and it's time to drain your beans. I usually put a bowl in the sink because I like to save the bean broth to use in soups, or in this case when I was doing this I was making chili, and so I like to use that liquid to add to my chili because it gives it so much flavor. Now they are ready to use in any recipe that I need. It's about 1.5 cups of cooked beans that equal a can of beans. So if you are substituting your own home cooked beans in a recipe that calls for 2 cans of beans, then you would know that you would need 3 cups. So it's a pretty easy way to measure. You can also freeze these beans. They freeze great. You could freeze them in 1.5 cup servings, so that anytime you had a recipe that called for 1.5 cups of beans, you could just substitute a package of your frozen already cooked beans. Super simple. All right, you guys, that wraps up Homemakers Journal 16, and I hope you found something inspiring or something useful and helpful. I know I enjoyed putting all this together for you, and yeah, if you liked it, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet and you like my content, would you consider subscribing? That would be really special too. I would appreciate that very much. All right, everybody, I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.